So, how do you find a company like Vertive Holdings a year ago? I discovered this website called Macro Trends. It's Macro Trends Stock Screener. And what I did about a year ago was I came into here and I set up the criteria for my screen, and that I wanted, number one, a U.S. company. I wanted computer technology because I knew that we are going into AI. I knew we are building data centers. I knew that NVIDIA was going to be a leader. And so then I say, okay, I want it to be a profitable company. So I have a PE ratio of 0.1, and then I click. And it gives me a screen, and I'll show you the overview. It gives me 261 stocks. Now, what I'm interested in, though, is at that point, a year ago, short-term performance. So it brings up the stocks and then ranks them on 1 week, 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, 1 year, or year to date, 1 year, and then price versus 50-day moving average and price versus 200-day moving average. And as you can see, I want to know on the last 3 months, and you recognize MicroStrategies. There is Vertive. They were there a year ago as well. So was Supermicro. That's how I found Supermicro and how I made money off of it. That's how I found NVIDIA. It's how I found Pure Storage. These are, though, current. I found those a year ago as well. So with that in mind, I look at Vertive. I was here back in July of last year, and I bought it for $24.50. So somewhere right in there, okay? And you can see then what it's done since. It tells me that it's a infrastructure company. What they do is they make the cooling systems for data centers. And that was the research that I did. So that's how I found Supermicro, and that's how I would suggest you find the stocks that you might be interested in. I'll point out this one, Dell. Just write it down, okay? And we'll go from there. Now, what do I do after I've done that? Well, my scenario is I do research, and most of my research starts here at Seeking Alpha. What I do is I go to their financials. I look and see, do they have increasing revenues? Does that chart look like it's going up? Yeah, does. Do they have increasing income? And you can see their income is actually kind of sporadic. So I need to dig into that and come to understand it. So then what I do is I create an Excel spreadsheet, and I digest or input all the data I need to come to a financial understanding of Vertive Holdings. And what I track is their earnings per share, their price, their revenue, and their free cash flow. And as you can see, it comes across here, and they really don't become an active company. This is their stock price until 2019. And I look at how the earnings per share affects the increase in or decrease in earnings per share. As you can see, they're not profitable. They become profitable back here in 2021. And then I see this, and this disturbs me. They have a jump, a sporadic movement in their earnings per share from 33 cents per share down to 4, up to $1.19 and up to $2.26. That doesn't give me confidence. That says something's going on here. And I come down to free cash flow, and I find it. There it is. Their free cash flow is doing well. It comes down from 364 in 2020 to 177, and then it goes negative. And what I find as I dig into their financials is they have some unrelated expense. Now, I don't know because I haven't read their annual report. They either took a loss on some property or they bought something. But anyway, their free cash flow took down, which then had a dramatic effect on their earnings per share the following year with an increase of 2,875, which then reflected a 252% increase in their in their stock price. So I look at this and I say, I can't create an accurate algorithm with those numbers in there. So I have to make an adjustment, and that's what I do. This is their price of their stock on January the 2nd of the corresponding year, 2022, 23, and 24. What I then try to do is create an algorithm that tells me for every 72% that there is an increase in earnings per share, there will be a 48% increase in the stock price. Why is that important? That's important because that's the one number or two numbers they give me as projections in the future. I can listen to their earnings call, and they will tell me in 2024 they expect a increase in their earnings from 119 to 228, then to 286, and then to 357. Knowing that, I can say for every 72% that it goes up, the price will go up 48 cents. The current price is $93. I'm predicting, based on all of this information, that the price of the stock on December the 31st, 2024 is going to be $73.47. Wait a second. It's 93.08 now. That's right. It's 93.08. But I believe on December the 31st, it's going to be $12.31. I believe on 12/31/25, it'll be $85, and then in December 26, it'll be $100. That's how I use data to help me determine what I should do. I think it's telling me I need to sell the stock, okay, be at 93.08. So let's look into that a little bit further and see if that really is what I want to do. To determine that, I go to my Trading Views chart. And as you can see, I've got a lot more than the chart here. I subscribe to Trading Views Premium, and then I buy these different inserts or upgrades that give me all this information. What is this information? Well, the things I want you to focus on is the blue lines are support levels. In other words, there's a support level, there's a subsequent support level, and here's the current support level. The red lines are lines of resistance. What I have done then is attached a tracer. It's called a Fibonacci retracement. It's right there. I have attached that from this support level to its high point. I then came to the subsequent support level, and I attached another tracer to the high level. And then I've done a third. Now, what the Fibonacci retracement tells me is that historically, a stock will retrace any large run-up that it has anywhere from 50% to, 78.6%. So based on these 1, 2, 3 retracements, this information is telling me this stock is going to come down to somewhere around $67. Now, what did we say it was going to be on our chart? We said it's going to be $73.47. That's right about there. So I have confirmation of my financial analysis in my technical analysis that this stock up to 93.35 actually went up today, probably as a result of its earnings, where it had a surprise up in earnings of 19% and a surprise on revenue of up just less than 1%. But my information tells me it's going to come down to there. Okay? That's how I analyze stocks. That's how I interpret where I should get in and get out. Now, how do I keep track of that? This right here is my cheat sheet. And there you see Vertive Holdings. And basically what I'm saying is that's what it's selling for today. There's my $72. That's where I want to buy it. Ultimately, I think it's going to come to 131, but not until it corrects down to 72. And that's confirmed by the analysts say that it's going to come to 76, and tech says it's going to come to 64. So what it tells me, if I buy it today at its current price, I'm going to lose 2.75%. If I can buy it at 72, I have the potential to make 25%. So in my interpretation, Vertive is a sell. Sell it today. It's coming down. It's overpriced. And you'll find this is on my website. This is a more expanded version of it. This is the research that I just showed you. And there's Vertive technology in a more condensed form and where I think it's going. I believe some of my commenters don't necessarily agree with me that they believe you cannot predict the performance of an asset in the future because there are too many variables. Last night I watched the NFL draft. I thought, what a boring show. But my goodness, what I learned how these coaches, these teams, what they know about those top, 32 players they drafted last night. They know everything about them. From the day they were born to the day they walked into that stadium in Detroit. And then they know exactly how they're going to fit into the scheme of the other players they have. What are they doing? They're analyzing data. And through the analysis of that data, and if you watched it, you saw that group of many, many people who work on that data to determine who do we need on our team relative to the other players on our team to make ourselves winners. That's exactly what I'm doing here. And I have to shout out to Nick Saban. I thought it was interesting he made the comment, I know every one of these draftees because these are the people I recruited for Alabama but didn't get and went on to stardom in college and will go on to stardom in pro football. They use data. They have cheat sheets. They have spreadsheets that track those individuals. They aren't names of stock. They are names of young men who are striving to become multi-billionaires. Is that so different than you and I? Is that so different than ASMH and Broadcom and Salesforce and Dell and Comfort Systems and Alphabet? Is it not the same, but still different? This is what I do. This is what I love to do. I am so glad I lived long enough to learn about this. And this is what I'm going to strive to help my tribe, my members, the team that I am building. I want to turn this into a team sport, investing into a team sport much as football is a team sport. And if you have a good coach who understands the data, like Nick Saban showed me last night, he understands that. They were looking at one guy who was being recruited as a right offensive tackle. And Nick said, I don't think that's where he's going to end up. I think he's going to end up as a guard. And Kirk Herbstreit said, why is that? And he said, the length of his arms. His arms aren't long enough to be a tackle. And probably his feet aren't big enough to be a tackle. That's what they do. That's what you and I need to do if we want to beat Goldman Sachs. That's what the NFL teams have to do if they want to beat Kansas City. We're in the same game, just different players. I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer. I'm a retired financial advisor. I'm having the time of my life. I'd like you to share in this knowledge. I'd like you to grow with me and grow with our team. We're going to attract some very talented people who will take us into the next step. I'd like you to be on the bus as we go. We've got 10,000 seats on our bus. Once it's filled, we're closing the doors. And then we'll probably just raise the price. $60 a month. Go into the description. Come to our platinum platform. And oh, by the way, it's time to sell Vertive Holdings.